Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is the Nigerian Teachers Community Platform. This hour, we are going to give you the opportunity to interact with us and get information regarding how you can migrate to the United Kingdom, especially if you are a teacher in Nigeria and you are wondering how you can secure a license to leave Nigeria and go and teach in the UK. I know that prior to this time, what most people know when we started hearing about qualified teacher status is that for you to be able to accomplish that, you have to essentially be in STEM, subjects like physics, mathematics, biology, and chemistry are essentially the ones that most people can easily use as a gateway to get into the UK, as well as the languages, Spanish, Japanese, Mandarin, Italian, German. But today, we are trying to also make it possible for you through information to realize that it is very realistic to think in terms of traveling to the UK to also teach and earn good money, even if you are not in STEM, because there are also many schools across the UK that are looking for people who teach several other subjects. And if you're in STEM, you haven't really secured a license yet, we want to assist you with information at this hour on how you can make the best use of the skills you have already acquired and the credentials you already possess. If you haven't done your TRCN certification and to get a license to teach in Nigeria, which makes it much easier for you to secure licenses of other countries, we are also going to help you with ideas on how to go about it speedily. Because these things are not rocket science. Most of the time people procrastinate, assume that life is much more difficult than it truly is in reality. So we are going to remove all the clouds and make life much easier for you. As we know, today in Nigeria, life is getting increasingly much more difficult than anybody envisaged. And we are not hoping that things are going to change dramatically overnight, especially in terms of the strength of the Naira and employment opportunities and how much the average teacher in any classroom in Nigeria can earn. And so it is in recognition of these realities that we are hosting one of us who also left Nigeria after teaching here for some time and complaining like you. Now he teaches in the UK. He used to be a lecturer in one of the universities in Nigeria. And now he has had his own immediate challenge at that time resolved, and he is climbing the ladder within the academia in the United Kingdom. And he has such a good heart that makes it possible for him to say, well, I know what I went through in Nigeria. I do not want everybody to go through that. I want the journey to be shorter for people coming behind me. And so he has volunteered to interact with us, to share information that will enable you to accomplish your dream as fast as possible. And if you're meeting me for the first time, I am Dr. Peter Ogudoro. I lead the Nigerian teachers community. That community came on stream in 2016 when I had the opportunity to move around the world doing research as an education researcher, and then gathered a lot of information which I believed could help Nigeria to move forward using the education platform. Unfortunately, the politicians didn't give me the chance to do it the way I wanted. So one of the things I decided to do was to set up the Nigerian teachers community, which today has over 500,000 members, and we have become internationally, recognized, and awards are coming from across the globe because of the empowerment we are now known for. We are helping teachers to get the information they need, to get the credentials they need, as well as the skills, knowledge, and values and networks that will be necessary for them to go to anywhere they want to go to in the world and earn money in dollars, since the Nigerian currency doesn't seem to be gaining as much strength as all of us would like you to have. And so this is Dr. Peter Goodrow, happily and delightfully welcoming you to this interaction at this hour. And what we intend to do within the next 30 minutes is to give you opportunity to listen to one of us, Dr. Benga Akintola, who until recently was a lecturer at Olabiso Anabaji University at Agewoye, where he was a teacher trainer. Now he trains people in business and related areas in the city of London, working for the University of Northumbria, which has its main campus in Newcastle, but he works for them at their campus in London. And so, having made that quick introduction, I would like to say hello to Dr. Olubenga Akintola. Dr. Wenga Akintola, you're welcome to this interaction.
Sir, and good evening.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us from the city of London. Are you joining us from London, or are you joining us from Scotland, where you have your wife and children?
I'm joining from England.
Okay, excellent. So thank you very much for finding time to join us this evening. Maybe we have to quickly find out. Until recently, you used to join us in this kind of conversation from Agiwoye, and I know in those days you used to struggle to get us to hear your voice. Now it's possible to hear your voice loud and clear. What made you decide to check out like Andrew?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get that.
Yeah. What made you to migrate out of Nigeria, decide to leave the job you were doing as a lecturer at Olabisi Onabanjo University, and now you teach in London?
Well, there are so many factors that contributed to that, but most of those factors that I was looking for a more challenging environment. I needed to learn more, and I needed to learn from people. When I was in Nigeria, yes, I was doing well. I had a very flourishing career, very promising career, but it got to a point where I felt I needed to learn more, I needed to do more, I needed to operate in an international environment where my potentials could be fully optimized. Not only that, I needed to find myself in an environment where I could leverage on modern technologies in real time. I could remember, sir, in those days, even when I joined from Ijebu, though I work in Agogo, I live in Ijebu, I struggle with the internet connection, and it was quite a worrisome thing at times, very frustrating at times. But now technology here is a way of life. Anybody who cannot catch up with technology will not be able to operate in the environment. I cannot imagine. I can't even remember the last time I had a note. I mean, money, as in physical money. I couldn't remember the last time I saw it. Everything you operate based on technology. So I needed a more challenging environment. I needed to learn from people. Yes, I know some little things. Yes, I needed to share my experience with people. I don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. And that's one of the reasons I felt, why not? I need to leave. It was time. And to God be the glory. God made it possible. And I'm here now.
Excellent. So, so far, what would you say, by way of summary, is the difference between the industry of education you see in the UK and what you left back home?
Sincerely, sir, there are two worlds apart. That's the truth. There are two worlds apart. There are two worlds apart. In terms of the content, in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the practice, there are two worlds apart. There are two worlds apart. An average student have access to virtually all the learning materials, even weeks before the start of the semester or the term, so to say. They have access to technology. I'll give you an instance. My children, when we got them registered in school, the first day we registered them in school, they were given laptops to start learning. They will have access to virtually everything. The university I teach presently, students, they have access to internet uninterrupted. So it is a two worlds apart. Then even the teachers, you could see you are teaching at ease, then it is hands-on. Hardly will you have any class without a seminar session where students will have to practicalize what they were taught in class real time, immediately there. And of course, you teach with videos, you teach with so many things. So it is two worlds apart. I hope Nigeria will get there someday. Yeah, that's my prayer.
All right. So if we decide to bring you back home forcefully tomorrow and say you must come back now, whether you like it or not, how would you respond to that?
I have to get to, what do you call it? I have to get to Prayer City to pray for you before coming. And it's not in view. That's the truth. Don't mind me. That was just a joke. I have to reject that with every fiber in my blood.
Okay.
Well, we come to, to consult and train people, but to practice in Nigeria is not in view. Not even in the next 5-10 years. It's not in view.
Okay, don't make us get scared because we want everybody to come home. Right? So I trained in England and I'm back home, and you don't want to come back home. But just don't worry about that conversation, so that I don't blackmail you on this show. Yeah, so let's see if what you have to share with us. Many Nigerian teachers would like to obtain license that will enable them, migrate out of Nigeria into the UK and get good teaching jobs and work there and earn money in pounds, which they can use to give their families good quality, high quality life. So from what you know, can you take the next 5 to 10 minutes and talk us through what you know can work? And I know that prior to this time, emphasis was on those in STEM. But I know that even if you're not in STEM, so long as you hold a degree and you have education credentials, it may not be possible for you to aspire to secure a teaching license in the UK. Please, can you take the next 5 to 10 minutes and talk us through that?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'll be sharing my screen so we can see one or two things which I'll be sharing. I'll just encourage you to move along with me. As I'm Olubenga Akintola, and I'll be sharing this. I hope everyone can see my screen now. Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
Okay. So securing UK teaching license without being in STEM and sciences. It is important to know, which I will establish in the course of this presentation, that GTS is General Teaching Council of Scotland. We are much familiar with QTS, which is the teacher certification registration in UK, England to be precise. But United Kingdom is made up of 4 different kingdoms: the England, Scotland, Wales, and North Ireland. And these are separate nations on their own, and they operate similar educational system. So I'll be sharing QoS with us, which is parallel to QTS. QoS is teacher registration certification by Scotland. On the average, over 1,300 teachers apply for this every year. And of course, it has recorded 90% success rate. Not only that, the application process takes average of 5 months, and this offers teachers registration in all subjects. It's not necessarily to be in sciences. And that's what actually caught my attention, that, oh, this is awesome. And of course, I explored and I got registered. So it's a route to the QTS England if you are interested. If you are not, even with QoS, you can teach anywhere in UK without being a science. That's very important. But it's important for us to know what the application is all about, what you need to put in place. And these are the checklists for the application. The application will require your teaching employment details, which is very important. The application will require referee. You have 2 referees that will have to write something about you that have that teaching experience and the required skill and competencies. Also, the original certification, your original certificate, teacher's qualification now, very important. Then you have 3 forms of identity: your international passport, your driver's license, or your utility bill, as the case may be. That is very important. Then the institution that issued your certificate, your teacher's degree certificate, will be issuing another document, official document, that will confirm that indeed your teacher's certificate, your degree is in area of teacher's qualification. That's very important. They need that confirmation from your awarding institution that awarded your degree. Not only that, the undergraduate degree certificate is what is actually needed. It doesn't matter if you have a master's or you have a PhD. I presented my master's and PhD, but indeed, they gave me full registration based on my undergraduate degree. Then also, you need an official transcript for the undergraduate program. Then this official transcript is very important. And then peradventure, you did not do education-related courses at undergraduate. Probably you now did PGDE. Yes, you need that transcript too to support your undergraduate qualification, because they want to be sure that you have knowledge of teaching and learning. That's very critical. Then you need documents to support if there's a change of name. Then there's what they call PVG. That is proof for vulnerable group. They want to be sure. Protection of vulnerable group. Yeah, protection of vulnerable group. They want to be sure that the person they are bringing into that profession doesn't have a questionable character that will affect people that have been termed vulnerable, children and among such groups. Then also there'll be evidence of foreign residency. Somebody who live outside the country, of course, they want to know they want to have that evidence that he lives outside his country, especially for people who are in languages. Then your official certificate translation, in case your certificate is not in English. But I know we in Nigeria, most of us in Nigeria will not have such problem. I talked about the referee the other time. The role that the referee play in this application is very, very important. That is why you must be careful who you select as your referee. The person you select as your referee must know you very well. The person you select as your referee must be able to give full details about you. So your referees will be contacted and they will ask your referee to present, to fill a reference form, which should be submitted within 28 days. Then it is important also that you consult your referee and you inform your referee concerning this. Not only that, when you inform your referee concerning this, they're expecting from your referee is they want to ask your referee about your curriculum knowledge, your understanding about the curriculum, and how you have been able to get developed in that area. And they want to know the teaching method you have been able to use, which means your referee should be somebody who knows you very well professionally. That is it. I have some referees now. Dr. Peter Glory is one of them. These are referees that even if you wake them from the sleep, they could tell you details, they could write volumes about me. And that's the kind of referee you should talk to, not just anybody. Then your referee should be able to comment on your classroom organization and behavioral management. And of course, we should call classroom management in our profession. The referee also should be able to comment on your professional responsibilities, your values, and your commitment to the profession. Say that. After that, after you have filing your application, from the institution now that issued your certificate, you want an official statement, official document from that institution. Now, I know a lot of people might feel so scared about it that, are you sure the institution that might not respond in time, will I need to go to the registrar of the university? No, it's not necessary. If your referee is from that same institution, or you have somebody, probably a lecturer in that same institution, that could comment about it. It could be your level advisor, it could be your former lecturer that you have a relationship with. That person will be able to comment on you that one degree that was awarded to you gives you opportunity to teach students, probably at junior secondary school or senior secondary school, in a particular age range. That's very important. Also, the document should be able to say categorically that your teaching qualification, that in the course of the teaching qualification, you have experienced teaching practice, which is, of course, very important in the practice. It's just like you can't say you finish medical training without housemanship. So in the field of education, you can't say you are a teacher without having an experience of teaching practice. That's very critical. They want that comment from that university that indeed, as part of your degree, as part of your qualification, as part of your training, you pass through teaching practice, you were involved in teaching practice, you were engaged in teaching practice. Then also, they want to confirm what subject area you completed as part of your teaching practice. At what level do you teach? For instance, do you teach business studies at junior secondary school? What level what subject do you teach at senior secondary school? They want to confirm that. And also, the institution should be able to confirm that study within the teacher's education that related to the teaching and learning is either at primary level or at secondary level. They want to know either one of it. Then lastly, they want to be sure that your degree has some elements of curriculum content, subjects that are very important in the field of education. For instance, you study, let's assume, social study or business education or accounting education at university level. Yes, the accounting is the teaching subject, or business studies the teaching subject, but they want to be sure what are the curriculum content of the degree you have. And these are the courses or modules, what we call education courses at undergraduate level, like the methodology, like social study method, case study in education, contemporary issue in education, curriculum development, psychology of learning, educational psychology, instructional technology, all those education courses. They want to be sure that you actually pass through them and you are actually taught, because these are basics. You won't know the importance of these until you are dealing with a student and you discover that that student has some learning difficulty. Then with your knowledge of psychology of learning, you will know how to relate with such students. So they want to be sure. So they want a document from official statement from the institution you graduated from that indeed your degree contains all these curriculum related subjects. And for additional information, I've put this website application for information website you can follow. You can browse the website. I'll drop this in the chat link. And with that, if there is any other information, we can link up to Dr. Ogudoro. Definitely, Dr. Ogudoro knows how to link up with me. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for the audience. Thanks so much, Doc. Thanks for your attention. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Akintola, for talking us through that. One question we definitely would like to ask is how much money is involved in processing this?
It's just £59. The application fee, yeah, is £9, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think it's not, yeah, it's not more than that.
Okay.
I need to double check. Yeah, but presently it's not more than that. But I'll double check in the course of the conversation, and I'll put the link after that.
Excellent. Yeah, and of course, those who are on our platforms, whether Facebook, our Facebook platform, Nigerian Teachers, or any of the WhatsApp groups through which we share useful information like this. If you remain connected to us, we'll be able to get across to you the links you can use to get there. So at this point, we would like to take about 2 questions where it's not designed to be a lengthy talk. So if you have any question to ask it immediately. So don't wait for somebody else to start, and then that will give you courage. Find the courage now to ask your question, because we'll close within the next 5 minutes. So if you raise your hand, then we'll invite you to ask your question if you have any interest in it. Yeah, and let's use this platform to confirm once again that if you teach physics, you still have a good chance. The relevant authorities in England are happy to welcome you. They want you to come over, and the grant of £10,000 is available to anyone who teaches physics and you would like to teach in England. And so even if you don't have a teaching qualification, so long as you have a bachelor's in physics, that subject is very much in high demand in England because of the shortage of physics teachers. Yeah. So even if you don't have a teaching qualification, as in your degree is not in education, but you do have a bachelor's degree in physics, they will be happy to welcome you, and then you go through your teacher training while in England. That's a possibility. But if you would like to migrate, you probably will need to talk to me so we can help you with ideas on how to secure your job from Nigeria, because you won't be able to access the money. We are talking about the £10,000 until you have been able to secure a job in England right from Nigeria. So they are not going to allow you to come into their country when you have not gone through a selection process that enables you to convince relevant school authorities in England that you can effectively man a classroom. So, and we'll be happy to help. Just get across to me and we'll tell you how you can go through the process. All right, so there are two Tutoshen. If Tutoshen is you're able to hear me loud and clear, unmute now and ask a question. So go straight to the question so we can close as soon as possible.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I'm in quite a noisy place. That's why I wrote my question. I'm a teacher of English language, and considering all the information we've been hearing about the fact that English teachers are not needed, but the flyer I got that made me join this meeting is that it's possible that you help guide us to secure a job from here in Nigeria and the UK, regardless of the subject we take. So I just want to confirm that, because I joined a bit late, so I want to be sure that I didn't miss that information out.
All right, so the answer to that question is straightforward. If you hold a degree in English language and you have a Bachelor of Education with specialty in English, yes, through the information we are sharing this evening, it is very possible for you to be able to migrate to the UK. Because as Dr. Wenga did actually mention, UK has 4 parts. There is England,
in
that's
addition,
your name,
sir, Doc,
yes.
sir, I don't know if I can just add something to that, sir.
Absolutely correct.
Thank you, sir. Let me say that for those who study English, they even have a better chance, not only in secondary school, even in tertiary institutions, in colleges, even in universities. So presently, there are lots of international students in Nigeria who doesn't speak English at all. They don't understand it. In the university I teach presently, at times I'll be teaching in class, some students from some countries, they have translator, they have their phones with translator installed on it, translating what I'm saying to their local languages because they were trained, they were taught in English. So what the university did was that there is a full-fledged department that is English language to such people, undergraduates. And you don't need to have a PhD to teach English language. There are some of the lecturers in that department, they don't have a master's degree. They only have bachelor's degree in English and they're very good at what they do. So they go there and they teach some of these international students basic English language, English language. So for somebody who is an English language teacher, you will have a better chance because a lot of international students are coming into the United Kingdom and they need to learn English afresh. And the university will admit them with the intention that when they come in, they'll be taken through the language module. And so it's very possible.
Excellent. So that's it. So the opportunity is there for you. And if you joined us from the UK and maybe you are doing a master's degree in English language, know that the opportunity is also there. If you are done with your program, you can teach in university, really. The UK is very different here. We don't borrow correctly. Here, universities are insisting if you don't have a PhD, you have nothing to do in the university. That's not very correct. As a PhD student, the person who taught my class photography, to the best of my knowledge, didn't even have a degree, in any discipline. He was the official photographer of the University of Reading. And when it came to teaching PhD students, photography, they were not interested in the person who has certificate. They were more interested in the person who has the competencies to teach us that. And they brought the official photographer of the university to come and teach us, photography. And we enjoyed it. We definitely enjoyed it much more than would have enjoyed the people who know only theory and do not know the hands-on thing, because they knew that we are going to return to our different countries, or even if you choose to stay in the UK, what will matter to us as researchers, going beyond our doctoral training, is ability to use our camera to take photographs that will complement the interactions we have with, verbally with our students in our classrooms. So that's how that society works. That society prioritizes skill, prioritizes knowledge, prioritizes having the right values above the certificates that we worship in Nigeria. So by all means, Sheung, you are good to go. Start the process. Rick, we can take your question now. Omut, straight to the point.
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to ask if I study botany, zoology, which is equivalent to biology, but what is missing from my certificate is botany, zoology.
We need to hear you better. Speak into your microphone so we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, better.
Hello, sir. Okay. Now, what I said is that I studied teacher education, botany, zoology at my first degree. So I want to know if botany, teacher education, botany, zoology can be taken for biology education in the an application for that teaching life and certification.
Yeah, botany, is it in education? Do you hold a Bachelor of Education in botany?
Yes, it's teacher education, botany, zoology. This is biology. So that is what is awarded in my.
All right, whatever it is, so long as you have an education credential, we are not pretending to speak for the relevant authorities in Scotland. You have to approach them with what you have. Look at what were you taught. Do you have skills with respect to teaching and learning? Can you prove it with your transcripts, which you can get your university to send to them? And then can you write, appropriate personal statement? Can you get your referees to support you with the right references? I think if you're able to do that, one way or the other, there will be a way for you. So let's leave it at that. Enebulele Joshua. The last one we'll take is from Esther Ngobi. So Esther Ngobi, be on standby. Joshua, straight to the point.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening. Are you hearing me?
We can hear you. Just go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay. I study building technology education. I study building technology in my university, but under education.
Yes.
So I don't know that we are also free to apply.
Do you have a Bachelor of Education in Building Technology?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Dr. Akintola, what do you want to comment on that?
In the UK, that I know, educationists are even more valued. There are colleges. So if you could remember, I was talking to you on a particular college we are having something to do with. There are colleges that they run programs in different aspects, especially vocational subjects. The building technology you're talking about is a vocational subject. And there are colleges that they run modules in the area of AOND, diploma, NCE, and what have you. And they are looking for teachers in that area. But you must be certified by their teaching council before you could teach. So irrespective of your subject area, provided you have a teaching background, there is a place for you in the United Kingdom. I can tell you that for free.
Excellent. Yeah, so you see, emphasis when it comes to teaching qualification in the UK is not necessarily, there are exceptions to the rule. When they have shortage in a particular subject area, then that is prioritized and promoted. But more of that applies to England. Even at that, even in England, we also have colleges that also offer courses other than the basic things people teach in secondary school. So there are teaching opportunities in those kinds of places. So what we should be prioritizing is, have you been trained as a teacher? If you have a teaching qualification and you have an area of your teaching subject is botany or building, so long as you can prove you have received professional education, training as a teacher, by all means, follow the process we have enunciated this evening and submit an application. Don't sit down. Nigerians, you procrastinate too much. Nobody achieves anything when he just sits down in Nigeria and wants all questions to be answered before he takes the very first step. The money involved in making the application is not a lot of money. It's not up to 100,000. 100,000 is not Benga, you are talking about a figure that is probably under £60, which is significantly below
I think it's £65 from what I checked now.
Very good. So make the application, and then you can learn in the process. If there's any question they want to ask you further, they are not like our own public agencies in Nigeria where it's difficult to get them to respond to emails. Those people are different. And most of these things we're talking about, you don't need to leave your desk, even in the school where you teach in Nigeria, to get all this things sorted out. It's online. You make application online and your credentials will come within about 6 months. And then we also will be able to guide you regarding websites where you can secure jobs even before you leave Nigeria. So life is not as difficult as it seems. That's the point we're trying to make. Don't sit in Nigeria and complain. The politicians are not going to change. It is you that has to change the approach you are bringing to bear on the management of your career. Take a different approach from the one you are used to now. All these 45,000, 60,000 people are earning here. It's not up to 60,000. 60,000 naira is not up to 60 pounds in the UK. What are you doing here? When you can teach maths, you can teach even political science. All those kinds of people are needed, so long as you have trained as a teacher. Okay, so England is not the only route through which you enter the UK. You can enter through Scotland, you can enter through Wales, you can enter through Northern Ireland. So don't keep limiting yourself to what you have been seeing on the internet. Most of the internet sources are prioritizing qualified teacher status, which is the route through which you get into the UK. But that's specifically for people who are interested in teaching in English schools. But there are several other schools across the United Kingdom, and that's what we're encouraging you to do this evening. All right, Esther, can we hear you?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
I studied the Igbo language, and I've taught for 13 years.
Okay.
I've taught Igbo language, even English too, in a school for 13 years. I'm in Lagos State, but I don't have a PGD. I'm yet to do my PGD by next year. So what are my chances, sir? That's what I want to know. What are my chances?
You studied Igbo in the Faculty of Arts, not in Faculty of Education.
No, Faculty of Arts, not in Faculty of Education.
Yeah, we want to save you time. The smart thing to do is try and stay in Nigeria and do postgraduate diploma in education. It will make your journey easier because you need to prove that you are a trained teacher. Dr. Akintola, what do you think about that?
That's very correct, sir.
All right.
But it's not all about the subjects. It's about the pedagogy, the knowledge of the pedagogy, which is science of teaching. That's very critical.
Yes, it's about the science of teaching. They don't want to just, in Nigeria, we are not as disciplined and rigorous as people in the UK. UK recognizes that if you have been trained on how to teach, then those principles you already have, you can use to learn even what you do not know, really. Unlike us here, we think that once you have learned mathematics, there is nothing else to worry about. But in the advanced societies, there is focus on learning how to learn learning how to teach. So in the UK, if you have been trained on how to teach, then they can trust you to run a proper classroom. And as society changes, they trust that because you have been trained on how to teach, you too will be able to learn new things and adapt and adopt new methodologies for running a proper classroom. So I encourage you, please enroll in any school close to you, a college of education where some of them now have postgraduate diploma that are moderated by universities close to them. Go and get it. University of Lagos is there, Nsukka is there, Jos is there, Madibele is there. They all have arrangements which you can take advantage of. Many of those arrangements are floated on their own campus. Some are floated on campuses of colleges of education who are affiliated to universities, that those colleges of education are in arrangements with. So take advantage of it and then give yourself 1 year, then you can migrate out of the country. Finally, can we hear Olayinka Adesina?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you. All right, please. I studied mathematics. I have a postgraduate diploma in education. I have my TRCN. And by the grace of God, I now have my QTS in England. Okay, I've been applying for a job, but I'm yet to get one. I've also started my process of application for QTS in Scotland. I've already paid, but I'm yet to hear from them. Is there anything I'm not doing well or I'm not doing right? I've not heard from. I think they've sent me a message to send to my referee also, and my referee have sent a message. Yes, I don't know. I'm yet to hear from them as per the QTS now. I have that for England, but I've done that for Scotland. I've not gotten back from them. Then please, can you help with processing and getting a job in England since I have my QTS? Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Benga, you will take on the question on the delay. I know you talked about a time frame of about 5 to 6 months, and so Nigerians, we are like the lizard who has been in a ditch for a long time, and a few months to getting you out. When I say, you must get me out of this place now. There are processes, so you have to permit them time to process those documents. So answer that one, and then I will come and talk about why you have not been able to secure a job in England. Yeah, because that's also a very critical part of this conversation. Most of the time, people think that once you get QTS, then automatically you have a job in England. That's not true. I will tell you what the missing link is. Dr. Akintola, talk to her regarding how much time it takes to process documents to get teaching license in Scotland.
Thank you, sir. It takes average of 5 months, between 5 to 6 months. Having applied, there are a lot of processes. They will still assign, they will do their preliminary check. They will look at the documents you submitted. They will do a lot of verification of those documents, even without you knowing. After that, they will now assign your application to someone who is your, there is a particular name they call it, they will assign it to somebody who will look through it. So it is not that you apply and you get to hear from them immediately. No, they will assign your application to somebody, and that person will now get in touch with you. So it takes time, really, because when I applied, I had similar experience too. And when my application was delayed, it wasn't delayed. I thought it was delayed, really. It wasn't delayed. So at a point, I just got a mail from my the person that the application was assigned to look into it. And the person asked me that I should get in touch with my institution, that there is need for additional information. So at that level, I knew that, oh, this I have to do. So it is not really a delay. They will assign your application to, I think, a verifier or something like that. The person will now get in touch with you. So you can be sure application is in the loop.
That's right. The application is receiving attention. That's how it works in the UK. They take their time because you see, what the average Nigerian teacher is not aware of regarding UK system, and it's not peculiar to UK, in most of the advanced societies, in virtually every part of Europe and America to a large extent.
Oh, sorry, sir. They will assign your application to registration case officer. Yes. Application case officer.
Case officer.
So the case officer will get in touch with you via mail.
Very good. Yeah, so they are very rigorous. The reason is they don't joke with children in the UK. They want to be sure that the person who is getting a license which permits you access to classrooms is somebody they can trust, because children are vulnerable, they are minors, and they don't want mischievous people to get into classrooms and get into problems of rape or speaking to children in the way that they do not want. Here in Nigeria, some of us are still insisting that the only way you can train children is to flog them, because we read the Bible upside down and don't put this in context. Once we go to the scripture and we say, spare the rod and spoil the child, we assume that sparing the rod means, means not flogging the child, and using the rod well means flogging the child, which is not what the Bible is talking about. The rod in that context, without appearing to, preach to you, is about using the word appropriately. My children are adults now. I have 2 of them, and they win awards in academics, they win awards in morals, but not once since they were born have I flogged any of them, have I slapped either of the 2. That's the truth of the matter. I'm an educationist. I was lucky to have trained as an educationist before I started having children, and I have applied education principles coming from psychology, from communication, and etc. to run my family. And so I don't fight physically, and my children have turned out well by the grace of God, without anybody having to flog them for one day. So they want to be sure that you have this type of mindset that doesn't make you come into a UK classroom with the idea that you have to flog children for them to be useful, because many Nigerian teachers are still insisting on that paradigm. It won't work for you. So taking time to process your application is a way of trying to be sure that truly you have been trained as a teacher, and you are very familiar with the science of teaching. Teaching is a science. It's not a job everybody can do. And once they are satisfied that you have met all the conditions, they will give you what you're looking for. Finally, in response to your question, madam, as I have indicated, is getting the QTS or the license to teach in any other part of the United Kingdom doesn't automatically give you a job. The average Nigerian teacher has passed through a university in Nigeria or college of education where a major missing link in the education system is the absence of a career management system. No university in Nigeria teaches career management. What we do is the regular counseling, which many people, get, and then they are employed in secondary schools, and a few universities employ also counselors, but they don't know anything about career management. So most of you apply, the way you write your application, your personal statement to go and teach in a school in the UK is the same way that you have done it in Nigeria. It won't work for you. You need appropriate personal statement. You need to be prepared on how to respond to interview questions. But more critically, even your CV. You don't just go on the internet and copy things. You are an individual, different from all other individuals in the world. So your story must be told first by your CV. That is a marketing tool for you that makes you acceptable to the prospective employer, who now shortlists you for interview, and then you have to learn how to respond to questions during the interview. We are thinking about that on the platform of Nigerian Teachers Community, and we are going to host probably a webinar. And those of you who are in Lagos, more appropriately, it might be possible for us to invite you over to Adeni Johnson Ikeja. Unfortunately for us in Nigeria, teachers want to go to UK, to America, to Canada, to earn a lot of money, become millionaires. But to even spend 2,000 naira on transport to move from where they are in Lekki to come to Ikeja, they always give you excuses. I don't understand how people want to, use magic. Just wake up and find themselves in the UK without spending money. Benga, you have been on this journey for a good number of years. Can you probably give us an insight into what it has taken you to get into the UK? Did you just, move from secondary school and you dropped in the UK and you're a lecturer in the university there?
No, sir. Absolutely no. It's a journey that it's involved a lot of consistency. And firstly, I must acknowledge the contribution of Dr. Gudoro. I'll just share my little story with you. I was privileged to be in contact with him early in life. Even when I finished my ND, OND, that was when I had passion for communication. I wanted to be a journalist, but I got admission into business study program at a polytechnic. So in order to make up for that, I asked somebody, and that person said I should go and do professional program in public relations. That's doing that, it will give me at least insight, and of course that will serve as it will fill the gap of that urge that I have for communication. So I registered for NIPR, but I was failing the diets. I was passing one every diet. I was passing one paper every diet. So in the course of it, somebody now told me that there's a particular place at Onode Street. Eventually, I got to meet him. One major thing that broke my back was that getting to his office, I saw books, and having interacted with him for 5 minutes, I knew this was where I was. So we started the journey, and Dr. Gudoro knows everything about my life, about my journey, every step I take. So he started, tutoring me. I wasn't the only one. There are so many of us that we grew up with him by the grace of God. We happen to be his, sons. So he led us, he guided us, career management. There is nothing you would do that Dr. Bro will not ask you that this is how you should be, this is how you do it. So we passed through professional public relations program, and I must confess to you that public relations program has really helped me. Now I teach in the Faculty of Business and Law. I have a bachelor degree in business education. I have a master's degree in business education. I have a PhD in business education, all in the Faculty of Education. Because in Nigeria, somebody will say, we don't do business admin. Why will you teach in public? Why will you teach in Faculty of Business and Law? But because of the background in public relations, because of the background, after public relations, I did CIM, and every time we come to him for, career counseling, okay, think that this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. It took us through so many. So it is very important that, you see, when you are applying for a job, you present your certificates. But when you are being interviewed, what will be required will be more than your certificate. And that is actually what will give you the job. Yes, they will look at your certificate, but in putting some things forward, the present job I am on presently, I was interviewed online. It was just 10 minutes. I was asked to do 10 minutes teaching online. And at the 8th minute, the chairman of the panel said, okay, that's okay. Just tell us your availability. when will you be available to start? And they asked me to submit my document. I submitted everything. And I was wondering, are they aware I have background in education? But they put me in faculty of business and law to teach MSc business. Presently, I supervise over 20 MSc students. So some of those things that I am using now were actually acquired beyond the four walls of the university classroom. That's the emphasis. The training, I learned about psychology for the first time under public relations program. I learned about some of the theory. So when I now got to learn it at the university, and now, it became so clear that, oh, this was what Dr. Guru was talking about in class. So it is not enough to be an outstanding professional relying alone on your certificate, what the university system will offer you. The truth of the matter is an average Nigerian university system will not offer you all it takes, all it's required operates in a global scene. And I'm saying that with every sense of responsibility. I'm saying that with every sense of honesty. I've lectured in a university in Nigeria for almost 10 years. I passed through, I've taught at every level of Nigerian education. I've taught at primary school, I've taught at secondary school, I've been a principal in a school. I've worked in eyebrow schools in Lekki, Lagos. I've been the principal of a school. So, and in all those years, thank God for the professional program, the public relation program we did at professional example. So I only encourage you, your certificate will not offer you, if the only thing you have is a certificate from a Nigerian university, I think you need more. That's the truth. The certificate will get you for shortlisting, but when it comes to interview, it's beyond your certificates. And that's what I have to say.
Yeah, even for shortlisting, because most universities in Nigeria do not incorporate career management system, most people don't prepare their CVs in ways that will make organizations in the UK and other parts of the advanced societies to shortlist them for jobs. So we can help you to look at that. Reach me on a typical day, but not today. Today, once I finish now, I'll be a bit tired, so I may not be happy to, take on, receive phone calls. So tomorrow, and any other day in the course of the week, 7 to 9 p.m. is when I receive phone calls. It's fine. You can reach me on phone, and I'll be happy to talk with you. And of course, remind me of this conversation. And if you want to teach in the UK, we'll prepare you for interviews. We'll prepare you. We'll work with you regarding your CV. And much better, if a lot of people are interested in this, we probably can do a physical training in Adeni Jones, where I have my office. A one-day full-time training might nail it for most of the people. But if you're not in Lagos, just find a way to give me a call. The telephone number is showing on the screen at the moment, 090 6960-3692. The right time to call me is in the evening. So if you call me during the day, most of the time I'm in conferences, I'm in seminars and workshops. If I don't pick your call, it's not because I'm ignoring you, because I'm not even available. As a professional teacher, I don't pick calls when I'm running classrooms, and that's one of the disciplines you must acquire as a trained teacher. I trained in England. English people do not misbehave when they're teachers in classrooms, and we have to start learning how to observe protocols and respect other people's personal spaces. All right, so that is how we are going to end it this evening. Thank you for joining us. And if you are not a member of any of our WhatsApp platforms, they are available to every teacher anywhere in the world for free. And a lot of the people we have there are people from the US, UK, especially Nigerians who have left here, but they are still trying to find their feet in the UK, in Canada. If you're not, operating in this space, you might think that merely getting out of Nigeria automatically solves your problem. That's not very true. Many people in the UK who are from Nigeria are still struggling. Many people in Canada and UK and US who are from Nigeria are struggling. So you still need ideas, and guidance from us. I have gone through those kinds of processes. I trained at the University of Reading. I'm also a product of University of Cambridge, where I did education with emphasis on ESD So we can assist you. I was also in several other countries around the world, including Austria, Norway, Finland, etc. So we have learned some things we can share with you. If you want to get into the UK, yes, it's not impossible, you can do it, but you have to modify the way you look at life. You have to wear a new lens so that life becomes very easy. But please, by all means, don't stay in Nigeria and waste away. Not much will change here anytime soon. Opportunities are there for you to take definite steps to get out of the country if that's what you want to do. Even if you choose to remain here, also reach out to us. We'll be able to help you with ideas on how you can use your skills and earn more money while you're in Nigeria, and even earn more money from around the world. There are people who are teaching students in the UK, in US, in Canada, and some even in other parts of Europe, without necessarily living in Nigeria, while you are working towards finding a way to get out of Nigeria. But if you are not called to leave Nigeria, I encourage you not to leave. Stay here, but consult us on how you can make more money staying here. But because of the strength of the naira at the moment, it's very weak. If you bring in £1,000 from the UK, you are more than £1 million naira, richer than you were before the money came into your pocket. So explore it. Don't sit down and procrastinate. These opportunities may not be there forever. I tell you, because some of the things we're discussing today can dry up, anytime soon. So as the opportunity, the door is open, please walk through it and get what you're looking for. So on that note, we want to thank you for joining us. I will stay back in the room after we have officially ended this conversation in the next 1 minute. And then if you think you want to ask more questions, you can. But at this point in time, if you are not a member of Nigerian Teachers, please join the Nigerian Teachers community. We are on Facebook. Over 600,000 of us are there, and our members come from Ghana, from Nigeria, from United Kingdom, United States, Canada, and several other countries in Asia. So come in there and interact with your colleagues, learn, ask your questions. You get all the answers for free. And if you want to get answers faster and interact at a closer level, especially with me, then join one of our WhatsApp groups. And if you're a member of one of our WhatsApp groups, we have shared the links through which people can get to the WhatsApp group you belong to. Don't keep distance to yourself. We are sharing knowledge with you for free. Share with your colleagues. Bring them into WhatsApp, any of our WhatsApp groups, and we'll be able to help them to also get information. Whoever gets to the UK first might be in a position to help the rest to also come over. So don't hoard information. The more you give, the more you are likely to receive. If we all get better, Dr. Benga Akintola has shared with us for free this evening. I have shared with you for free. Nigerian Teachers Platform, we are spending money to share these things with you for free. Also be willing to serve. And those of you who have volunteered to become coordinators for Nigerian Teachers community in the different states across Nigeria, watch out for more information. We are working with several education agencies at the federal level, at the state level. I'll provide you more details. With effort from January next year, a lot will happen that will change the landscape of education in Nigeria. We're working with Universal Basic Education Commission. We're working with the equivalents of UBEC at the state level. We're also collaborating with our partners from across the world. Of course, we won the Facebook Accelerator Award for 2021, and the British Council, in recognition of the job they believe we're doing, which they consider fantastic, and especially in recognition of the fact that I'm a product of their system, they also gave us special recognition publicly in February this year. All of those opportunities and platforms we're leveraging to try and empower more teachers in Nigeria and beyond. And so do not fail to take advantage of it. We'll be happy to help. But also be happy to spread the good news. Join Nigerian Teachers on Facebook. That will be www.facebook.com/groups/Nigerian Teachers. As a matter of fact, if you get into Facebook and just type Nigerian Teachers, if that group that shows up has over 600,000 members, then that's the right place to get into. And then for our WhatsApp groups, to share ideas on how to run your Christmas, programs, and now that we are getting to the end of the year. Join the WhatsApp groups, and very soon we are going to open it, provided we don't have 419 people who come there to disturb us. And remember, if you are joining our WhatsApp group, you must make sure that first and foremost, you do two-step authentication so that a hacker will not hack your account and then use it to come into the group. That's why for now, all our WhatsApp groups are locked. We just use them to get information across. But in a few days, maximum 2 weeks, we'll be able to open those platforms so that teachers can interact and share more ideas. But while we are trying to do that, give me a call in the evenings between 7 and 9. I'll be able to answer your questions. On that note, I wish you a very good evening. Thank you, Dr. Benga, for joining us.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, hopefully, if we do have more questions to ask, if we invite you back, you will not refuse to indulge us.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
We are available.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Send our warm regards to your wife and your wonderful children.
Thank you, sir.
And then don't complain about the cold in the UK. You bargain for it. It's not our fault. You're enjoying right, the pants. If you want to enjoy sun, then leave the pants and come and enjoy a week naira here.
Pants is more important, sir.
All right. Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you, sir. Yes, sir. Bye, sir. Yes, sir.